Thursday night football, let's get after it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Craig Bennett from Daily Edge Sports, and here we're going to talk about a PrizePicks Thursday night football video. We got a divisional matchup. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. Don't really like this game, to be honest with you. It feels like a trap spot for Tomlin and the Steelers a little bit. We got a little bit of weather, cold temperatures, probably in the low 30s, not a ton of wind, but just divisional games, they can get a little funky. Just don't absolutely love this game, but we'll dive into it. We'll try to find 3 plays that we do like here. If you want to join along, use that promo code CashK. Play $5, get $50 instantly. Let's get after it. All right, PrizePicks desktop is up here, and like I was saying, it's a game where I'm not super excited to be playing, to be honest with you. Cleveland and Pittsburgh never really excites me because you're right. Majority of people like to play, more than the projection. And this is not a game that I absolutely just love all around. This could be a low scoring affair and divisional matchup here. Like I said, it's one of those games where it just feels like a trap spot beating Baltimore. It could be a letdown spot here for Pittsburgh where Tomlin crew just don't get it done. But we'll dive into 3 plays that I think are viable. Decide if you want to use them in your selection today as you're making your lineups. And the first one we'll head on over to Chris Boswell. I tend to like to take kickers on Thursday night football or any of the primetime games. They tend to shine. As you can tell, absolutely monster game coming off Baltimore, where he put up all their points, man. I mean, just absolutely monster game. 6 for 6 in field goals. Not expecting something like that. But I can see, again, the winds aren't a big factor. We got might have some rain or snow mix, light, nothing crazy. The winds don't look crazy at all, which would only really worry for me so much as the wind. So I just, maybe we see some another low scoring affair where it's 15-12 or 15-9 or something crazy like that. And he's been doing well, over the last 5 weeks, 14-13, 14-4, and 18. Now Cleveland tends to not give up a ton of kicking points here, but that's because they're usually just getting boat raced, giving up a lot of points here. So, but I think they stall a little bit, maybe with the weather, maybe just a divisional matchup, letdown game. We see some more, some kicking out of Pittsburgh again. So we'll go more than 7 kicking points out of Chris Boswell here. Second play, we'll stick on the board here. We'll head on over to Najee Harris, kind of see where we're at with him. As you see, pretty popular play, 68.5 rush yards. I kind of like the rush attempts at 17.5. You want to go more than that or the rush yards, I'm perfectly fine going this way as well. Let me put Boswell up here. But for Najee, at that number, I still think we're good. If we look at it, just didn't quite get there against Baltimore. Baltimore is the number 1 rush defense in the NFL. And not like that the Pittsburgh were still committed to the run here. He still ran 18 times. Over the last 4 games, you like to see 21-19, 21-18. With Russ back there, they're going to run just more of a regular offense than Fields, where he's just going to drop back and he's going to run all the time. So didn't quite get it done the last 2 games, but before that had some monster games against the Jets and the Giants. Cleveland does have a pretty decent rush defense themselves, where they're 11th against the running back position, only giving up 83 yards a game. 68.5 feels a little bit too low. It opened up at 64.5, so it has moved about 4 points, but I still think it is viable here. And again, a divisional matchup might just be a nasty game where they're, a lot of smash mouth football here. Now, overall, Cleveland gives up 131 yards on the ground total. And I think a lot of that has to do with, again, quarterback position there in that division where you're playing, Lamar. He's going to run the ball quite a bit. But, it's still a spot where I still think he can get that done at 68.5. We get over to our PrizePicks projection EV tool, kind of see what we got. I was pulling up and look at it here. We get him for 77.64, so almost 9 yards over. Consensus line is -102 on the over as well. So yeah, I think he can get it done here. Again, not a game I absolutely love. I was checking out Discord as well this morning and kind of seeing where folks were doing, and the bets won. We had a pretty decent night last night. Especially checking out Village Bobcat. He actually smashed Dabble. If you don't notice, we have a Dabble tool now where it has our custom projections lined up against theirs, and yeah, absolutely smashed Dabble. Looks some PrizePicks wins. Looks like he had a few sleeper wins there, little DraftKings pick six, just all over the place. So you love to kind of see that through the guys here each and every morning. Like to see how the success of what other guys have done. But yeah, Najee Harris, we're going to go higher than 68.5 rush yards. And then the third pick I'm going to go, I was going different ways here. As you can see, looking at the tools, I was kind of like, pass attempts, Russ, he has cleared this in all 4 games. We get him for just a little bit over, 28.2, so 1.5, almost 1.5 over. I was looking at that. I know Cedric Tillman is extremely popular. 3.5 receptions feels a little light. The consensus line likes that at minus 108 as well if you wanted to go that route. But I was kind of looking and I'm like, well, if it's an ugly game, maybe we see a lot more third downs. I was surprised how much Henry Ford, Jerome Ford was used last game as well. So 11.5 reception yards. We get him for just shy of 14. I'm going to kind of lean that way, honestly, for Ford. As you can, 11.5 receiving yards. Last week, he did put up 29. A lot of that was in kind of garbage time where they were down quite a bit, lost 35-14. But the last 2 games, target-wise, 3 and 4, caught 4 here where he got the 29 against the Chargers. He only caught 1 of 3. And Pittsburgh actually gives up quite a few receiving yards to the running back position. 26th in the NFL, giving up 37.4 yards a game. And Jerome Ford looks like he's still going to be active in that passing game where they're just going to run Chubb and use Jerome Ford in that passing game. So I was kind of curious if they're going to do that. If they get down quite a bit, maybe they check the ball down a little more, even though it's not really in Winston's DNA to check the ball down. 11.5 feels a little bit too light for me. So I think that is a viable play. But yeah, like you said, I told you Tillman's extremely popular, and a lot of that, again, has to do with plus EV stuff with where he's at. The Winston play is interesting when it comes to rush attempts. We get him for a tad bit over the 2.5, minus 109 on that 2.5 number if you want to take a shot at that as well as one that I'm looking at. And with him, it's just, that pass rush for Pittsburgh's going to get to him. And if they can flush him out of the pocket, he might get out there and run a little bit. So that's where that's coming from. Or if they get down and they got to try to come back and nothing's there, he can run a little bit. So I don't mind that, but they're just 2 pretty popular plays in Winston's rush attempts and Tillman's receptions. Just trying to give you something a little bit different, as a lot of people are going to gravitate towards those plus EV plays, and the projections are about right where we had them. So I wasn't super excited about that. I like the Wilson one quite a bit though, at the 27 pass attempts where he's cleared it all 4 times. Really just comes down to where this game's going to be at. If Pittsburgh gets up, maybe they just run the ball on them. But we'll see. But yeah, there's 3 picks for you. Again, don't love this game. Not going to play this game heavy at all. Great letdown spot. Maybe I'll go to the books and look at taking the under here. And I think, I'm not exactly sure what the line is for the Browns now. I think it was it 7.5 when I checked them out earlier today? Maybe you do a little bit of a no, I'm sorry. Pittsburgh's minus 3.5. Again, that's like, that's one of those things where the total's 36.5. Pittsburgh's minus 3.5. This just feels like maybe you tease this a little bit, get some higher points for the under, but 36.5 total here. That just tells you about everything you need to know. But yeah, maybe you take 6 points and go under 42.5, and then take the Browns at plus 9.5 instead of the plus 3.5. Feels like a close game. Again, letdown spot for the Steelers. But 3.5 points, I don't think I want to take that line. But man, that's pointing towards a letdown game for the Steelers if they're only favored by 3.5 points here against the Browns. So with that, appreciate you guys. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. We'll keep trying to knock these things out for you. And if you want access to our tools here, head on over to Daily Edge Sports, and you can get a free offer. Click on that, or you can subscribe and get this with your elite subscription and get all these PrizePicks tools, the DraftKings Pick 6 tool, Underdog, and as you can tell, we've added DraftKings Sportsbook now for you guys who are on Sportsbook with our custom projections. And then we've also added Dabble is the new one as well. So with that, appreciate you guys. Again, see you on the flip side. Enjoy your Thursday. Deuces.